Good morning and welcome to the Connect Show. We made it, Tracy.
We made it.
It's going to work out.
That's what he keeps saying. Each week we invite you to some of the best and the brightest to get you in the right mindset and learn the best techniques to help your business rock in 2022. You can join us every week here at Tuesdays at 10 a.m.
That's fantastic. So to start out, let's get in the chat, what is one habit you'd like to adopt for 2022? We always talk about developing new mindset, new programming, things that can help you accelerate your business. And it all starts with you and your mindset and getting over your fears. And this is going to be very relevant because of the guests that we have for you today. Speaking of which, who's joining us today, Tracy?
We have Michael Rampolla and David Goodall.
And of course, Kim's going to be doing a networking report. And if you have any ideas or suggestions, please send them to us. And be sure to like and subscribe if you're listening to this on a podcast or the Facebooks. We want to hear your questions. But the reason I love the lab is for a good reason, because there's wonderful events here. And last Thursday, I got to be a part of a fantastic event. It was a fundraiser for Waukesha Food Bank. And, we got the thing going and we had the auction items up on the screen. It was wonderful. And they brought in like $15,000.
Nice.
And that was awesome. And then they gave an award to this couple for being a founder. And they came up to the stage and they had very few words to say. And they said, we just really want to just give you a check. And they handed them a regulation-sized check like you'd have in your personal checking book. And they
not the real big
No,
check.
they didn't have a big check. They just had like the regulation size and, handwritten. And the woman who runs the food pantry that serves Waukesha County was just overwhelmed. And she had tears in her eyes. And she said, can I share this? And they said yes. And she said, I can't even say it. So she handed it to the chairperson of the committee that runs the food bank. And she looked at it and she goes, oh my gosh. She said, thank you so much. This is a donation for $100,000.
Wow. And
I was just blown away. And the reason I share that is that things like that happen at the lab all the time. There's we think of it as a co-working space, but it's also a space where people do fundraisers and great things happen. I mean, that much money into the Waukesha Food Bank is life-changing for that business, and it's going to change a lot of people. They impact people's lives. That buys a lot of milk. So I'm just, when we talk about the lab, it's got great coffee and it's got a cool space, but wonderful things happen and it's just good energy.
They do have really good coffee.
They do. Coffee break.
So next we want to remind you to be our guest. So if anybody wants to be our guest, please send us a message at the ideas / go to the Connect Show / be our guest or ideas at theconnectshow.com. I got my URLs mixed up. And email us. In February we're going to have financial help for small businesses. In March we're going to have organizational tips. So those are the topics we're going to be having. So if you know of anybody who might be good for those months, please send them our way.
Speaking of guests, in November we're talking about acceleration. And this is about automation and scaling your company. So we'd love it if you could send us your questions. The great thing about this is we can have rock star coaches answer your questions and help you get unstuck, help you get started, whatever it is that you would need.
If you're new to the Connect experience, each month we have a new business topic. And we're also going to be having a Christmas party, and we're going to be starting out the new year with some pretty cool, exciting things coming up in January, so you'll have to stay tuned for that.
I'm excited. We have a lot of wonderful things happening. And a few weeks ago, Eleanor Beaton was on our show, and she talked about what we need to focus on. So she talked about the $10,000 mindset, and it's about automating, it's about accelerating, and it's about scaling your business. When you focus on the $10,000 task, you're not a lion hunting mice. You know, you're looking for things that are really going to grow and scale your business. And that comes in the form of giving a seminar, but then thinking, how can I turn the seminar into something that can be purchased evergreen, or I can scale it to a larger audience. I love what she brought to the table, and if you'd like to hear more from Eleanor Beaton, go to theconnectshow.com, and all of those replays are available there, and you can just listen to her segment if you want to. And it was a really great episode. I got a lot out of that one.
And it's an important part of our growth is to keep connected to one another. So if you're in the Zoom chat or are able to put in your information in the chat, please do so with your contact info so we can all help each other grow. We don't have a quote for today, do we?
That was
Eleanor
the Eleanor.
was our quote?
Eleanor.
Yes, 2022.
That is a great question. I have been listening to a number of mindset people, and one thing I learned is habits take 21 days, and we've all heard that. But beyond that, programming, changing the fundamental way that we operate as a human being, takes much longer. It can take 2 months or 12 months, and to really reprogram your brain or to get beyond a habit and change the way that you do things, it takes time and it takes intention and dedication. And so for 2022, I want to reprogram my brain on...
That is not a small habit.
It's
sounds like a big undertaking.
It's huge, and I can't do it on my own. I need help. I need a coach. I need a daily routine that will allow me to make that shift, and I need accountability partners so that I don't get off track, because I tend to I want to reprogram my brain, and then it shifts. It kind of morphs. And so I really wanted to be careful not to have it morph into something else, So that reprogramming is what I wanted to do. I love November 1st is my go day, because I'm like, if I'm going to do a New Year's resolution, I'm going to do it on November 1st. So when January 1st happens, I am already doing it. And that comes from going to Tony Robbins too many times, where the best time to do things is now and not to wait for it. So,
isn't it challenging, though, to do it over the holidays?
If you can do things in the hardest time of the year, then
it's... know that you can do it in the easiest time.
Yep. Like, this is the best time if you have things that you want to address on eating. The holidays are the best time to achieve that, because then if you can achieve it over the holidays, it doesn't mean that you can't eat cookies. It just means that you have to burn those cookies if you're going to eat them.
Right.
Wonderful. So what do we got? I think we got vitamins.
Vitamins for the Soul is a new segment where we share good habits and tools to help you on your journey.
And success is a result of consistent good habits and doing these each week. And so we want to bring you things that we find along the way, and books and habits and traits that we can share with you.
Well, let's see. I think part in line of your setting your routines in the morning, and we're all about talking about the morning routines lately and the mindset, and I think affirmations might be a really good thing to add into your morning also.
I love affirmations. What do you got for affirmations, Tracy?
Today we have affirmation cards. They have a little unicorn on them, on a rainbow with a bunny.
I think the unicorn is riding riding the rainbow, and the bunny's riding the unicorn.
Right.
Whoa.
Yes.
That's huge. That's huge. That blows my mind.
So these cards have been proven to help people change their mindset in the morning. And if you were to get these cards, and somebody may get these cards, they have like little cartoon characters on the back, which I think is good for expanding your vision while you're reading the affirmation. because they're not regular cartoons. They're a little different. They're a little out there. So it kind of makes you think outside the box.
Mm-hmm. We do have a giveaway, and you have an opportunity to get yourself some bunny, unicorn riding, rainbow crossing affirmation cards. Mm-hmm. Yes.
All you have to do is go to the website, or Kim might be putting that information in the chat. It's at theconnectshow.com/giveaway, and you just put in your email address, and there's a couple other options in there for you to have more than one entry. So if you really want these cards, do all the different things that you can do, like our page, subscribe to our newsletter, all that kind of stuff.
I love it.
And we will be choosing that in a half an hour. So stick around to see who's going to be the winner.
That is fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. And before we bring on our first guest, let's hear from the Serendipity Labs. Michael thinks in metaphors, speaks in visuals, and dabbles in social psychology. He answers questions with questions and talks too fast and never stops at why. Michael hasn't met a whiteboard he didn't like. He is the whiteboard king. If you've ever seen him on Zoom, he's always rocking it, and he's rumored that he buys Post-its by the pallets. And if you have an obstacle to overcome and don't know where to start, Michael is the person to speak to.
So Michael.
Yes.
Great to have you today.
Thank you.
What's one cool, exciting thing that's happened to you over the last week?
Cool, exciting thing that's happened over the last week. It's only Tuesday, so I don't have a lot of runway to work with there. I would say one cool thing is I'm really excited about an event coming up this weekend where I've been asked to speak and give a couple talks at a conference, and it's really encouraging when what you're doing gets recognized and people seek you out to come share what you're doing with others. And I'm just really excited about that because I got a chance to talk with the organizer and get a lot of insight as to what he's trying to accomplish. And whenever I'm supporting somebody else like that, it's nice to know what their goals are, so you can help, by how you present and how you bring your information, and you can always help them do their thing better. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing I just love to do. I love helping other people do their thing better, whatever it might be. So
yeah. The Spearity framework is very specific. Can you share that with us?
Absolutely. So the Spearity framework is based on three things that we know every business needs to know and understand, and that's the repeatable, measurable processes that run your business. And then following that, we look at what are the crucial competencies. So if these are the processes, the people running the processes, what do they need to know and have skills at and be good at to run those processes well, to be more effective? And then what are the intentional habits that make sure we're doing the right things at the right times on a regular basis? I mean, you were both talking a lot about habits. And when we do coaching, that's habit building and habit alignment is really what we're focused on. But what we've discovered is if we start at habits, but we don't know that we've got the right skills and alignment in place, and we don't know that we've got the processes optimized, that all that habits are doing is reinforcing the current approach. So if we're just coaching you to keep doing exactly what you're doing, you're not going to get any better. You're not going to be able to achieve any change. So we always start with those processes before we get to the coaching. And I think that's a little bit different approach in our framework compared to other coaching methodologies that typically tend to reinforce things that are already happening.
And you have technology to use that will help with the accountability and the daily reminders. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we've developed a technology. It's the Spearity app. And the reason we have it is because we know that as businesses grow and scale, business owners increasingly struggle to know what's happening at the outside edges of their business. It's the unknown that's preventing business owners from making better decisions. So what our app enables us to do is analyze the data, pay attention to the metrics, and helps a business owner see basically at a glance where their attention and their time is needed, what's working, we can do more of that, what's not working, where we can make adjustments. So instead of just operating from how I think things are or how I feel, I'm operating from good data that helps us make better decisions.
It's all about the data.
All about the data.
Love it.
It is.
I love it.
It is about the data, yeah.
You also talked about the 3 Ps of performance optimization. Can you tell us a little bit about the 3 Ps?
Absolutely. So performance optimization is really, like I talked about earlier with coaching, doing what you're doing at its best. Sometimes it means more, sometimes it means less, but it's optimized for the goal. What's the most effective approach? And what we've discovered is there's a lot of, maybe I would say, trends or things that feel like, yeah, let's try that. But we found that the things that we might want to try or things that look good on paper aren't necessarily good in practice. And so the first P of performance optimization is that everything we do has to be principled. It has to be as universally applicable as possible. Because we know that every business is a little bit different. Different industries, different size, scale, geography. So the more principled we can make our approach, the more universally applicable it will be, and therefore the more consistent, positive results we're going to have. So everything we do with optimization is principled and based on things that always work. And the second thing is looking at things that are, gosh, I'm forgetting my second P. I'm jumping over to the third one. The second one's practical. So everything that we do has to be practical. It means it has to be applicable. It can't just be good in theory. It can't be good on paper. It has to really work. So practical means it's the theory applied, and if in applying the theory it's working, then it's practical. We don't want to give you something that you can't use. We don't want to talk about things that that don't fit your situation. So everything we do for optimizing performance has to be practical. And the third thing, our third P is impactful, meaning it has to make a difference. I know we're fudging the P a little bit there, but
it's a little late in the word, but
if reading, writing, arithmetic is 3 R's, our 3 P's are principled, practical, and impactful.
Nothing wrong with fudging P.
Thank you very much. So impactful means it has to move the needle. It has to make a difference. It has to be valuable. Because if it isn't making an impact on a key business metric, if it's not increasing revenue, decreasing expenses, improving performance, increasing loyalty, doing something that really matters for the business, then it's not a key priority. So for optimizing performance, everything we do is going to be focused on those 3 areas. It's going to go through that filter.
I love it. So you have the 3 Ps, and then you also have proof.
Right.
Talk about your proofs.
Absolutely. Working with businesses, as I talked about earlier, as a business grows and scales, the challenges change. What got you from I have an idea to I'm actually, somebody bought it, and from that idea, we'll call that foundation. From foundation to growth, and from growth to scale, those are 3 different journeys for a business owner and a business to make. And you've heard the line, what got you here won't get you there. Mm-hmm. So what it takes to get to foundation is different than what it takes to get to growth and what it takes to get to scale. And so that proof of model, the proof of concept model is, if you're a foundation, we've got proof of market. You have a thing that people are buying. If you have not sold one of your thing yet, we don't have any market. We haven't proved out that there's a market for your idea, your product, your service. We have to start with that when we are working with a business, because without proof that what your great idea is, somebody wants it, we can't do anything. But as soon as we get one, that's really all that we need. So if we've got just one person bought your one thing, that's all we need. Now we've got proof that somebody wants this. If there's one, there's always going to be more than one. So that's our proof of market. Once we have proof of market, we're at foundation, we're at what we call revenue neutral. Your expenses no longer outweigh your income. Then we can get to proof of model, and that's where we get to growth, which means what you are doing, there's a revenue model in it where you can make increasing amounts of revenue. If we have proof of model, and there's different business models, there's different ways that different businesses make money. And what we've learned is if you apply the wrong business model to the business, then you really can't make money in that way. So how a restaurant makes money is different than how a catering company makes money, even though they both work with food. Mm-hmm. That model is different. So we have to optimize the model. Once we're at growth, and then we have to decide, or the business owner has to decide if they want to scale. Because what it takes to get to scale is different. And proof of scale is a totally different idea, and that really comes down to, can you, the way I describe it, can you hand off a playbook to somebody else to run another copy of your business somewhere else?
Mm-hmm. Right.
If you can do that, you're at scalability. But until you have, back to those repeatable processes and competencies, until you have that, we can't scale yet. So businesses that are growing but not scaling, that's the number one thing that they need to focus on is, can you repeat everything and basically hand off a version of your business to somebody else to run? If you can do that, you can scale it.
And that's so important, because if you have a business that you can scale, you have a business that you can sell.
Exactly right.
And
exactly
you don't
right.
have a job, you have a business. And there's a big a big distinction.
Big distinction. Yeah, I have a job, I own a business, I'm looking to sell my business. Those are all kind of on that same maturity model that we talked about. And a business owner who hasn't yet decided what their end goal is might not even realize that there's this journey that they're on. It's like you've met people who can't retire because they don't know what they're going to do with themselves.
Yeah.
It's the same idea. If I don't know what the future looks like, it's hard for me to leave the place that I am right now.
I have a question on all this. So can a business owner, do you have to go in that order? Obviously you need the proof part of a market part, but the growth and the scale, can they go back and forth on that? Or should that happen like 1, 2, 3? Or can they go back and forth a little bit?
Well, you can spin up new adjacent markets kind of in the same way. So the thing that you're selling first, that can go from proof of market to growth to scale. Once you've got, at any point along the journey, you could set up and start up a new product line, a new service, any of those things. But you have to go back to that same question: is will somebody buy it first? Once somebody buys it, can I figure out how to get revenue positive on it? Once they're revenue positive, do I want to? And you can have things that are growing but not scaling, and things that are scaling but not growing. But if you want to go back to growth, then typically you're going to start up a new product line, a new service, tap into an adjacent market. Everybody's asking me for this other thing too. Well, let's see if there's a market for it and if we can turn it into revenue positive, revenue generating opportunity.
I'm on your email list, and in December you have a quarterly thing coming up.
Yep.
How do you get involved, and what's the qualifications to be there?
Basic qualifications is you heard about it, and we like to say a business owner is probably your target market. Business owners for sure, or leaders, growing leaders at large companies is also a good market for us. And I say a good market for us because we are targeting that event. It's called the Apex event, which is the Agile Planning Experience. So our planning approach is not annual only. Some organizations make the annual plan, put it up on a wall, hope it works. We always revisit our goals every quarter. We do that with all of our members, and we do it with prospects and guests too at this Apex event. How do you get involved is, you go to spearity.com/apex, APEX, and for people that are learning about it through this, we've got a discount code set up where you can come for half price, because I really want people to come see what this is about. It's an opportunity for you as an owner to take that time that you never really get to focus on growing your business. It's never enough time to plan. There's never enough time to to stop and check what's working and what's not working. And this is a 4-hour event with a lot of intention around it. We build in networking. There's training. We do strategic planning time as well. And everybody there is going to walk away with some new insights, some new connections, and a plan for the next quarter. And if you're like the old version of me, planning the next quarter when you're not yet done with the current quarter might seem very foreign. But like you said with your New Year's resolution, it's the exact same idea. If I want to be running it on January 1st, I need to start in advance of that with my plan and getting up to speed. And that's how we approach quarterly planning. So that Apex event is just designed around that.
And what's the date again?
December 10th, Friday, December 10th, 8 a.m. till noon Central Time. And again, spearity.com/apex. And we're going to put discount code. I think my team is building it right now, but 214-CONNECT will be the discount code for that 50% price.
Oh, that's great. And that is at Ward 4 or 4th Ward?
Actually, it's all virtual. So
okay.
What's really great about it is, once we all moved to the virtual space, we found that we were able to produce the exact, same quality event with with at least as much engagement and to an even bigger audience, because we
wonderful.
can spread out geographically. So anybody anywhere can come.
That is great, because we
awesome.
have people from all over the world, because I think we have guests from other countries, technically.
Awesome.
On the call.
We'll go international. I love that idea.
Yeah, the screen's about 14 miles away, so you can't really read it. It's little blurs and images, but.
But we do have more information about Michael on the Connect Show at /Michael Rampolla.
Awesome.
So you can get links to all of your events and your
Great.
information.
Thank you.
You can follow him there.
And thank you so much, Michael, for joining us.
Thanks for having me here.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And with that, we're going to hear from Kim.
I'm excited about our networking report today.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited too. Take it away, Kim.
All right, I'm unmuted and ready to go. Tony P, how are you?
Doing great. How are you all doing today?
Great. Welcome to the Connect Show and ready to talk about Tony P. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Tony P's networking?
Okay, cool. Well, first off, Michael, great job. Just want to give you some props if you're still on.
Absolutely. He can hear you.
Okay, cool. And I got a special place for people with a lot of vowels in their last name, like myself. So, and that's actually how Tony P came to be, is because my last name is Palella. It's a crazy Italian name. No one knows how to say it, spell it, or anything. So I got a lot of nicknames, and I've been called Tony P my whole life, and it's turned into a brand the last several years, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I was in the software world for over 20 years doing sales and IT, software, internet security, whatnot. Me and a buddy started our own company called Appointments IQ several years ago, which is a lead generation, business development type company. And by doing that, we learned that the more we networked, the more business we found, the more people we met, the more opportunities just fell in our laps. And I've always been networking anyways, but we started doing our own events a few years ago in Chicago, and they really took off. And then when the pandemic hit, we switched to doing events on Zoom, kind of like we're doing right now. And then when things started opening up, we started doing the in-person events again. But by doing the virtual events, our audience exploded nationwide, like over 10 times bigger than it was before. So once the pandemic is less of an issue, we're going to be doing events in other major cities, including Milwaukee, Nashville, Miami, Vegas, LA, Phoenix. I mean, we got networks all over the country ready to go that want to meet in person. So yeah, or you just find a way to take fun, smart, interesting, motivated, positive people and put them in a room together, whether it's on Zoom or whether it's a bar, club, or restaurant in Chicago, or soon in the near future, other major markets. We just like to find ways to create these environments, these communities where we'll get together and help each other out and help elevate each other's businesses and have fun while doing it.
I love that. I'm all about the community. And since you're in Chicago and I'm not far in Milwaukee, it's cold. I'm going to follow you to Miami, Phoenix, all those warm places. Do them in the winter. Okay. Cause I'm here for it.
Yeah. We're mapping them out as we speak. So
I'm here for it.
January, February, March, we'll be able to do stuff in warmer climates and get out of the Midwest for a little bit.
Yeah, that sounds great. So you actually have a virtual event tonight. Do you want to tell everyone about it? And we'll throw some links in the chat.
It's actually tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, excuse me, sorry.
No, I normally do them on Tuesday nights, but because it's an election day, election night,
that's right.
I kind of figured I'd push it to the next day because I don't know, we live in a climate where people get pretty amped up pretty easily. So I figure probably best to not do a virtual event on an election day.
Yeah, wait that day. There's nothing wrong with that. You have
people
great
might be
guests.
A little triggered, you know. So I figure I'll let people cool off for a day.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so let me do this. I think I dropped it earlier, but just in case, I'll drop it in the chat again here for everybody. Give me 1 sec, y'all.
I will actually put all your links right in the chat for you. So if you want to go ahead and talk about the event and let everyone know who's coming and what they can expect.
Yeah, here. So first off, I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the link for tomorrow night. I actually got an in-person event in Chicago in a couple weeks as well, for anybody that's, you know, local. Let's see here. So I'm just going to drop this here really quick. Okay, so you should see a couple of links that I just put in the chat here. So the thing is too, is I use Eventbrite for marketing and promoting the events and obviously selling tickets whether in person. When it's a virtual event, I use Eventbrite to market to get out to a lot of people. But in the Eventbrite link for tomorrow night, the key thing is actually register on Zoom for the event, because Zoom isn't the greatest at marketing, but that's where the events take place. So it's kind of like an extra step.
Sure.
And then I got the event in a couple weeks in Chicago at a bar not far from my office, where probably like 200, 250 people there. I don't know what it's like in Milwaukee, but in Chicago, the whole mask mandate stuff, I think people are kind of just over it now.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're like in a grocery store or a gym or like a public transit, like no one's really wearing masks anymore. So kind of opening back up again.
Right.
But,
so what can people expect tomorrow?
Oh yeah. So tomorrow night, if you click on the Eventbrite link for tomorrow night, you scroll down, you'll see a gentleman by the name of Mike Barrett, which I think some of you know. He's a pretty incredible guy. He's amazing at helping people, you know, hone and sharpen up their pitch, whether it be their elevator pitch, their company, their story, whatever. He helps people fine tune it. So he's going to be our featured guest tomorrow night, and probably about 40 to 50 people on there from a wide variety of industries from all across the country. And really what we do is, we have these breakout sessions where people network with like-minded individuals. Then we have the featured guest have his 5 minutes to tell about what he's working on. Then we have another 10-minute breakout session. Then we do like about 15, 20 minutes of Q&A. So it's kind of similar to your event where it's just different stages, different phases where it allows you to meet people and also get some good content that you can use for your day-to-day business life.
Sounds fabulous. Do you have one networking tip that you could give everybody today before we sign off?
I got so many, but the one that probably resonates the most is think of networking as, being reciprocal, having that give and take.
Mm-hmm.
Because I attend a lot of events in person, I attend a lot of events online, I host quite a few events. And I think the key thing is when you meet someone, to ask questions about them, use the form technique: family, occupation, recreation, motivation. And you ask people questions in those different categories, learn more about them, and find out what do they need. How, what do they need for their business, or to improve, or to make more money, to be more successful, or to meet the right audience. So I guess the biggest takeaway is focus on helping others first, before you ask for anything in return, and it's amazing how if you focus on helping other people in the room, and even if it's just an introduction or whatever, then all of a sudden people want to help you. Then they're actually knocking themselves over each other to try and help you because you're helping everybody else first. And it's really key, because think of all the events that you go to or you meet people and they're putting a business card in your face. I mean, like, here, call me, here's how great I am, and then they walk away. You're like, okay, whatever, it's like, so you got to focus on helping others first, and then everything else kind of falls into place after that.
I absolutely love that. That's exactly how I feel about networking. I want to thank you so much for joining us live. And I really look forward to your event tomorrow. I will definitely be there.
Awesome.
And if you guys stay on, and even if Michael can log on afterwards, we're going to do networking right here from 11 to 11:30.
Perfect.
And you can add your networking events to our calendar. I'll put links in the chat for how you can add events right to the Connect Show calendar. So thank you so much, Tony P. And I'm going to see you tomorrow, and maybe if you stick around today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the opportunity to present to you all. And I look forward to chat with you all more going forward.
Absolutely.
So if you haven't figured it out, Dave Goodall is our next guest. He's the founder of Tap Mental. Dave assists minded leaders to align with their energy skills and business processes to achieve their dreams.
And through his experience, Dave realized that there's two tracks of challenges in business: the logistical and the human. With a proven track record of delivering on strategy and knowing that everything starts with your team, Dave sought to understand the human element of workflow.
Now we can welcome David.
Yes, let's welcome Dave. We're going to go back over here. David, welcome so much. And Kim's going to put you up on the screen. Oh my gosh, it's working out great. How's it going?
Thanks for having me, guys. It's a pleasure to be here today.
So David, I'm curious, what is one cool and exciting thing that's happened to you in the last week that you'd like to share with us?
I knew that was coming because I saw when you guys were talking to Michael, and I thought about it real quick. This Friday morning, I'm leaving for Myrtle Beach with my daughter, who's a freshman in high school. She is a dyslexic, fast pitch softball player, and she's been invited as a guest catcher for a team that's going to be joining the Fall World Series. And the reason that's exciting to me is I was let go from my corporate job 4 years ago. I have started my own business to not only empower businesses, but I'm also empowering my family. Being there for my daughter this Friday and through the weekend is just, that's what I live for, empowering my kids and my wife and the family that we're building.
You talk about, being present, and we all talk about being present and aware and developing good habits, but you have something called conscious awareness. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so a lot of my clients come to me. I'm an engineer by trade, so I spent 22 years in the tech industry. what I learned through that, and my daughter was diagnosed autistic when she was 9. So I had a lot of things going on in the brain that I didn't understand. And, also me being dyslexic, I had a lot of negative self-talk because I was stupid, because I wasn't following the track that normal kids were in school. I was in summer school all the time. So I had this rooted core belief of being stupid. It wasn't until a mentor 1 year before my kids were born, I was complaining about my life. And he turned around and says, your life sucks because of your best thinking. And I was like, what? So my life sucks because of me? So right there was that conscious awareness, right? I had to be aware that I had the power to make change, positive or negative. It's all up to me. I get to choose what path. So whenever I work with a client and there's something going on, we look at, what are you aware of? Albert Einstein wrote a quote, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. If you're not aware of your process that's broken, if you're not aware of your mindset, you're going to keep doing the same thing and it's never going to get any better.
That's kind of like what Michael was just talking about even with the business stuff. If you're not aware of what you're doing, like if you don't make any changes, your business is not going to change. So it all ties together.
Yeah. It's the thinking that got you to this level will not get to next level. Success requires next level thinking. I love what you're talking about.
But I hear you use hypnosis, so I'm kind of curious about that. Are you doing the dangling thing where we're all sitting there watching the...
Well, it was neat. You guys were talking about affirmations in the morning. Do you know why they're really impactful in the morning? Do you know why we do those?
Something about your alpha state, theta state, something like that?
Yeah. So I remember as beta, alpha, theta, delta. Delta is deep sleep, and theta is our programming hypnosis state. Our unconscious mind resides at theta state. So as you're waking up in the morning, you're closest to your theta state. So theta state is talking to your unconscious. That's hypnosis. Whenever you can be in conversation, meditation, visualization, thinking time, that's when you get to reprogram those neural pathways. So hypnosis really is not making you bark like a dog on stage, which that can be done. It's more of getting yourself out of the chaos of the beta alpha states down into what will you see, hear, and feel when you have it, and doing that over and over until that's locked in for possibility for you.
Do you are you in theta like when you wake up and before you go to sleep, or where does that happen?
Yeah. So we're always in like a beta alpha. So beta is really like anxiety driven. You got a lot, you're multitasking, you got a lot of stuff going on, your brain's in multiple directions, right? You're completely out of unconscious and in kind of conscious state. You're kind of creating the chaos. The alpha state is kind of like what we're doing right now. I'm speaking, you guys are listening. It's kind of like a learning state. And theta state is what you go down to. That's almost like the REM sleep state, like when you're dreaming. So that at night you go in through a theta state before you get a deep sleep. In the morning you come in through theta out to, out from deep into theta and back into life and existence here. So yeah, we hit theta state a couple times a day, but you can also take a moment, walk outside, get in your car, sit down, put some music on, take 5 minutes, just relax and breathe. That's when we can kind of calm ourselves down and get back and get recentered.
Question that is a sidebar. When you are in the state of flow, you're in the zone, and you're throwing the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl, what state is that?
Like your alpha state. Okay. That's kind of like everything's clicking, like your conscious mind's in connection with your unconscious mind. And it just, the kind of way I look at it, the goal setter is your conscious, the goal getter is your unconscious. So when you're in complete connection, complete flow, the two bodies are in conversation, seamless, and it's just moving and grooving.
I just needed to know that in case it comes up this week. So, or next year. I got big goals. I told you I'm reprogramming next year. That's on the list.
My daughter was diagnosed autistic, and that's where neuroscience and neuroplasticity, I just dove in, with an engineering background, I just dove into that stuff. And you can rewire that stuff quickly. The biggest block from all of that is catabolic energy. So whenever we have anger, sadness, fear, hurt, and guilt trapped in our timeline, it can block our IQ up to 80%. So I'll give you an example of that. Have you ever been outside talking to someone and a fire truck goes by? That's catabolic energy. It's like, I'm here talking to you, but there's, hey, what's going on? We're rubbernecking, an accident on the highway. That's catabolic energy. Even though you set a goal, you can have a belief or some sort of noise in your unconscious that's like taking your eye off the prize. It's just there's a disconnect or a disbelief that you've programmed earlier on your journey.
Interesting. So with your hypnosis, you do this with your clients then? Can you do this online or in person? Can you do it either way?
Everything's on Zoom, and hypnosis, I just want to be clear. Kind of, neurolinguistics programming is what I've got a master's in. So there is a form of hypnosis. And again, it's not barking like a dog on stage. It's allowing an opportunity for the client to map an outcome that they want and allowing them to truly connect to it with their value system, their purpose system. When they know who they are, what they're about, and why they're on this journey, then they create the outcome they want. And then there's accountability through that. So they create, there is some kind of hypnosis, but anytime that you can see, hear, and feel, that's when you chase after it. So a lot of my clients, if we go through the MER process, they get a mantra, they'll listen to that mantra every morning, every night. Huge success. When they're in that morning mantra and every night before bed, that stuff happens within 2 to 3 weeks.
So if you use NLP to reprogram somebody, do you change the habit and then the habit is changed, or do you have to repeat the process or get like a booster hypnosis every now and again?
Well, a lot of it, what it is, you just go dig in and we look and see where anger, sadness, fear, hurt, and guilt has been trapped in your programming. There's a saying, give me the child before the age of 7, I'll give you the man. So 90% of our unconscious mind is programmed by the age of 7. The lenses through which we experience life, our parents, grandparents, teachers, coaches, all that stuff by the age of 7 built the foundation of our value system. So then we go off on life and we keep tweaking it. So whatever temper tantrum you had by the age of 7, you still repeat that today. 95% of what you do today is on repeat from when you were 7. It's kind of crazy. So what we do is we go in and say, for example, I have a client, he's got a great business. He's got a magic number of 5 million and his sales director's got a magic number of say 45. And he's like, and he's fighting with his team. So I need to understand, get into him. It's like, where's your anger, sadness, fear, hurt, and guilt on your timeline embedded? Why did you attract someone whose number is so much bigger than yours? And how do you not even know what his number means to him? So if you're making decisions in your business based on his numbers, what are yours? And so we've just got this misalignment. So allowing them to release any of that baggage that's in there, let them create a SMART goal around the big aim goal, what's the big picture and what's the little micro goals we have to hit to get there. And that's kind of where the hypnosis comes into play. We're creating that vision. They tell me what they want. And then that's when they repeat that over and over.
I have a question on all that. So I've been hearing a lot from different books and different presenters about there's something about focusing about stuff that's happened in your past, and then there's stuff about focusing in the future. So how much are you focusing in the past, and how much are you focusing in the future?
Well, it's twofold, right? I call it time travel. Anxiety and depression shows up with time traveling. So anxiety is simply taking a past failure and throwing it into the future. So how many times a day do you go back to a past experience and you're like, oh crap, if I do that, this is going to be the outcome. So it's got that anxiety. Depression is you time travel back to a bad experience and you sit in it. Right. So even with MER, mental emotional release, that was developed by Dr. Matt James, I don't care what your past was. You just need to know that events happened. And if you're willing to let it go, it's gone. Then you have to rewrite the new path you want moving forward. So like John, what you were saying, be aware of the present with a goal towards the future. That's and beautiful. I'll add to that, because I saw some people in the beginning, you asked, what are we going to change going forward? Our unconscious mind is like a 7-year-old kid. You can't tell it what not to do. So someone wrote in there, I'm looking at the notes, a non-procrastinator. That person's going to continue to be a procrastinator because it doesn't understand the non. You have to create a vision of procrastination and you just told your unconscious what to do. So if you want to change from being a non-procrastinator, you're just like, I want to be highly motivated, positive, and taking action when needed.
Visioning a non-procrastinator is hard. Visioning a highly motivated person who does things, you can map that out piece by piece. Yep.
Awesome. Do you have anything that you want to share with our guests today about any programs or upcoming events? Or anything you got going on?
I've been head down and I am so passionate over this. I've got a free ebook on my website. It's a goal setting book. It's about 45 pages. It really walks you through the conscious and unconscious mind and how it works and how we can communicate. I will tell you that 95% of every single one of my clients that comes to me can tell me exactly what they don't want. but struggle to tell me what they do. So it's hard to make goals when you're like, oh, I don't want to be fat. I don't want to be broke. I'm tired of paying my rent late. Like, those are the things, and that's what we're focusing on. So if that's what's top of mind, we're going to attract more of that. So my manual allows you to get down and write all the crap out that you hate and map it across. If this was gone, what would it look like? So it's a process to teach you how the unconscious and conscious mind works, how to map out goals that are lasting, and how to keep achieving those goals and setting them as you continue down that journey.
Oh, and so your ebook is kind of like a little bit of a workbook for all that?
Yep, it's a workbook. It's about 45 pages. It teaches you, and then it gives you all the how-to-dos. So it's all in there.
Cool. And everybody can find that at the Connect Show / David Goodall. It's on our website already. So go get it.
Thank you so much, David. This has been wonderful. I love what you brought to the show today. This is great stuff, and I'm looking forward to diving into your workbook and using that to help in my journey of reprogramming.
Yeah.
Good
It's
luck
perfect
to you.
timing for you too on November
Right?
1st.
Right? It's like these guests are planned or something. I don't know. Well, what are we going to do next, Tracy? I think we got something happening, don't we?
Giveaway?
We're going to do networking at 11:30, and we do have a giveaway, and we have a brand new giveaway hype.
I'm so excited.
So we have an update on the giveaway, and Tracy
Does not have the winner yet.
and Kim's going to come on and tell us who the winner is.
Is it after 10:45?
Yes, the winner is in slide 40. Winner is Barry Capolos.
Barry is winning.
Is our winner again.
He is just like
to go,
a
Barry.
multi-winner. He is rocking it.
He's got another giveaway coming his way too already.
Yep.
Winner, winner.
There we go. So next up we have some networking, but I just wanted to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, which is Serendipity Lab. They have a Zen Den, which is a yoga room that overlooks this beautiful garden. And the wonderful thing about the Zen Den is I can go in there and use some of David Goodall's advice about taking time to get into that theta state, to be calm, to help in reprogramming my brain.
That's awesome. Next week we have Kim Yang and Ariel Kopek in our show. Pretty exciting.
It's going to be exciting. Kim Yang's going to show us some automation on LinkedIn that's going to help us reach a larger audience. And Ariel's going to first address the mindset so that when we do create things on LinkedIn, they work correctly. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, and share if you're listening to this on podcast, YouTube, or the Facebooks.
And we want to thank Sandra, our makeup lady, for doing such a fabulous job on us today. And David for monitoring all of our video equipment over here, and he's been doing a great job with that. And Kim for our networking report, and all of our guests in the Zoom chat. Am I forgetting anybody?
Xander.
Xander? Oh, I called you David. Sorry, Xander.
Dave's not here.
Yeah.
Anyone
And
who
Xander.
remembers that is my age. Okay. And thank you to the audience for showing up. We really appreciate you being a part of the Connect Show and all the wisdom and energy that you bring. And with that,
Off to networking.
let's network.